morning. Thank you guys so much for connecting. Pray you're having a beautiful Sunday morning. I also pray you had a good week on last week. Did you finish strong? Good morning, Miss Chica. Thank you guys so much for connecting this morning. I'm going to give it a couple minutes to get people time to log on that may be running a little behind this morning. In the meanwhile, you got another minute or so to go and grab that cup of coffee if that's what you need. We had a pretty interesting weekend this weekend. Good morning, Miss Hoy. Thanks so much for connecting with us this morning. Good morning, Tay. Miss Bridget Lee, thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. We're going to give it just a couple more minutes to give people time to connect. Maybe another minute. Pastor Ransom, thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. All of you are just connecting. I pray that you had a great week on last week and having a pretty good weekend. So I think I'll just go ahead and get started. Miss Anita, thank you so much for connecting with us. We'll go ahead and get started and let everyone else catch up in the replay. Lucy, thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. We had a very interesting weekend on this past weekend, especially yesterday. There were protests all over the country, No Kings protests. I think they said it was over 2,500 of those protests that happened on yesterday. To what avail? I guess we'll have to live on to see if, in fact, those protests were effective. I think that in most instances, consistency is key. So we got to keep the same consistency until midterms. That's coming up. I want to. I know we have a couple of people here that works for the government, but those of you who work for the government, I'm not sure whether or not this shutdown affected your payday that just passed. If so, reach out to us. Let us know. We want to be there to support however we can, wherever we can. And I couldn't imagine, what that would be like in this climate. And you, Shandrika, yeah, I figured. Yeah, I couldn't imagine what that will be like. And we really want to keep you guys lifted up in prayer, and that the Lord will always, always have provisions for you guys. Those of you who are here, I was Shandrika, so please, wow, just please keep her in your prayers. She says that they're still expected as employees to commute into work and work without pay, and some people have commute from state to state. So that's a lot. So please let us keep those people and those families in prayer, because it only takes 30 days to fall behind, and it could take you 30 months to get back on track. So we definitely want to keep them lifted up in prayer. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That's a lot, just thinking about it. Oh my. So this morning, we've been talking about self-care. I want to continue. I want to continue with that. And I do want to address a couple of topics. Well, no, I tell you what, we're going to do something different today, because actually what I will do is I will open up my phone lines, and you guys will be able to call in real time, okay? If you guys have any questions or comments about anything, I want you guys to call in real time. Most of you who are here, you have my number. If you call in, just know that everyone that's on this live will hear your questions. And I'll say, if you're watching from a separate device, make sure that you turn that separate device down, because the echo will be really rough to deal with. You won't be able to hear, or we won't be able to hear you as well. So, yeah, but talking about self-care. We're talking about taking care of ourselves, talking about making sure that we're good in order to be good for others. We're talking about taking care of ourselves to the point to where we not allow it to become abusive in no way. So we won't allow ourselves to be abused by people that we've committed to. And when I say abused, I'm not necessarily talking about physical or verbal abuse. I'm just talking about understanding abuse. When people feel as though you'll always understand, they have a tendency to take things to the next level. So, for those of you who are just connecting with us, the phone lines are open 318-230-8772. That's 318-820-8772. If you have any questions or comments as we go along, you can call in and we'll take your calls as they come in live. But this is something that I wanted to say to you. I think one of the ways that we can become abusive to ourselves, right? The scripture says this. The scripture says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart, lean not to your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path, right? So we understand that. We understand we got to trust the Lord, da 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 da. But then we have like cliches that we've come up with according to our own doctrine, where there is no expectation, there will be no manifestation. So we have these expectations that we place upon God. And if we are being honest, most of the time, that's one of the most frustrating things because it almost never happens how we expect it. And so, understanding that, you can relieve and show better care for yourself by understanding and accepting that fact. And I want to say it like this: premeditated expectations on how God will bless you can hinder your ability to trust Him or trust that He will. Right? Right? So, what I mean by that is when you have a premeditated expectation on how God will bless you, when your life starts going in a direction that you were not expecting and that's not included in your how, your trust levels in God starts to lower because you're saying, wait a minute, like I thought you was going to do this. And God may be saying, yeah, I am going to do that. And you're saying, but why is it going this way? Or why is it not going that way? And God never told you how he was going to bless you. He just told you that he would. He just promised that he would. And so when we have these and we have them in our relationships, right? Any manner of relationship, we have them. We have expectations for our relationships, the way we interact with others and others interact with us. And when we have these expectations, when it's not going according to the way that we premeditated it or the way that we expected, then it's, I guess, something off in the relationship. You get that sense that something is off and it's time to have a talk. We need to talk because what is this? I know you promised me that you were going to be understanding, kind, loving, all this stuff, but what you're doing right now is not the way that I expected to receive that. And so it causes us to back off. Good morning, Cam. It causes us to back off and back up away from relationships, and that's really not on anyone else. In this case, we're talking about the way that you care for yourself, which means it's not really fair to you if your premeditated expectation on God, on how God will bless you, cause you not to trust him because he hasn't done anything other than what he said he would do from the beginning of time, now even in time and beyond time. That's all God will do is what he said he would do because he cannot be separated from his word, nor can he be distracted from his word. In fact, he is his word. And so, um, when we're able to accept that fact, you understand that it wasn't God that switched up on you. It was that he never followed your rules, right? He's not sticking to your plan. And trust me, I get it. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have God not stick to your plans and have a certain expectation on how God will do a thing, and it doesn't pan out that way. And it caused you to fall back and say, well, maybe I need to come up with something else. Maybe I need to try to figure out another way. And in all instances, it's not that you have to figure out all another way. You just have to release control of the situation to God, because we want to control everything. And I, to be honest, you guys, I think that that's a part of our born nature, because we were created to have dominion. We were created to govern and manage and oversee and control certain things. We were created for that. So I don't think that that's always a bad thing. I just think that it must be monitored, and it must remain healthy, because if in fact it goes to another place, you'd be like, wait a minute now. Don't bless me like that. Go back and bless me this way. Bless me the right way. And God's like, wait, what do you want me to do it? Or are you more concerned with how I do it? You know? And so one thing I will say to you guys is take the how out of the way that of God blessing you. Take your how out of the way. If you have an expectation for God to do a thing, whether it's personal, professional, social, financial, economically, if you have an expectation, take your how out. So if you're saying that you believe in God to bless you with $50 million, then like don't hinge it all on the lottery ticket. you know, don't hinge it on the numbers. Like, I'm gonna keep playing this lottery because I know God gonna bless me. No, now you telling him how to bless you. Like, it's got to come through the lottery. He may want to do it another way. And every week that you buy those lottery tickets, or however often I think they play the lottery every few days now. But however you play the lottery, you'll be looking disappointed every time they don't call your numbers, right? And God may be saying, well, I never intended to bless you through those means. So, like, you need to get over that. He'll let you get that out of your system before he make his move. And you're like, did you just forget about me? And he's saying, no, you have restricted, you have restricted my ability to do it any other way, because you don't trust me to do it any other way. You feel as though you know the best way for this to be done. And I'm telling you that once you begin to open yourself up for God to bless you, however he chooses to bless you, I'm telling you, you will be so surprised. You will be so surprised at how creatively and effectively God is able to do exactly what he promised he would do in your life. Because the things that I've given to God, and I say, hey, you know what? I don't need to know how. All I know is that you will. Those things that I give to him that way, he never fails. It never happens the way that I imagine it. I will be honest with you. It never happens that way, because I have one thing on my mind, and God be coming down a different street, and he pull up behind me and blow. I have to turn around and looking like, oh, there you are. Yeah. So, don't limit yourself to that. And, whenever God is speaking to you, well, let me ask this question. Let me ask this question. Has God made any of you, and this is a good talking point right here. And has God ever made any of you a promise, and when he made the promise, based upon premeditated expectations in time past, you were hesitant in your ability to really receive what was being said. Like you hear the word of the Lord, you hear the promise of God, but you're hesitant because in times past it didn't happen the way that you thought it would. Is that you? If so, somebody let's hear about it. Somebody call in 318-230-8772. 318-230-8772. I'll take the first call on that one. But yeah, that happens a lot. That happens a lot. God will say he'll do something, and then when we or when he does it, like we're just like he promises, but we're hesitant because we've been let down in so many other instances in our lives that we don't know how to receive just the promise. We don't know how to receive the word. And that's the thing we have to be careful for. We have to be careful of being able to receive the promise because you need to cross examine your hesitation sometime, as it could be doubt. Your hesitation could be doubting you, and make sure, because there's a thin line between hesitation and or there's a thin line between doubt and caution. It's okay to be cautious, but if you're overly cautious, is it really doubt? Are you really doubting God and say, I'm just being cautious because I don't want to, I don't want to play myself. I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get my expectations up. Because if that happens, if it happens that you begin to get your expectation up, you have to be prepared for the letdown. And because you've been let down before, no one likes that feeling. Yeah. Yeah. Drika said, I've been left in a state of however it gets done is how it gets done. Right. Right. Exactly. And that's the way that we have to move forward. We have to move forward that way. And trust God and believe God, because this is self preservation. It's going to keep you, watch this, it's going to keep you from becoming let down to the point to where you rather not believe God for anything. We still have to believe. And that they that come to God must first believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder, that he's going to do what he said he's going to do. You have to believe. And so if you're in a season right now where there's not anything you're believing God for, I want to challenge you this morning to begin to believe God for something again. Believe God for something again. Last night, I went back into the stack on my old worship jams. I don't know if you guys remember Jason Upton, but they had removed all of his music at one time, and I see it's back. So I found it, and I was listening to some of his old worship songs, and like I was like there. When I tell you I was there, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was there, and I was thinking about back then in that season of my life when I really used to just like that was my go-to worship music in my time with God. Back then, I was able to give everything over to God and trust that He would do it, man. And I was doing some outrageous stuff. Crazy stuff was happening, and I'm like, man, there's no way that I could have figured out how to get this done or how to do that. But we were able to. We were able to do it every single time, because God did it His way. And that way always worked out. And the way that I would have tried to do it more than likely would have failed. So I'm saying to you, like, believe God for something, but also leave it up to Him on how He will manifest this thing for you. right? Believe it. Regardless of what it is, regardless of what it is, just believe he's going to work it out the way that he wants to work it out. And I'm saying this to I'm sharing this with you guys today because this is a very fundamental conversation to have. But sometimes we get so caught up in the complexities of God until we feel like everything is everything. This is like not one of those things that we should let govern our ability to believe that we are able to receive from God, because that's not on God, that's on us, because we place those expectations there on how he will do it. But no, you have the expectation and leave the how to God. We leave the how to God. I don't care if it's in your business. I don't care if it's in your marriage. I don't care if it's in your parenting. I don't care if it's in your social relationships, romantic relationships, professional relationships. Have the expectation, leave the how to God. Do not box God into your how. Don't do it. You're only setting yourself up to be let down. And so you want to give yourself that break. You want to give yourself that break. That is self-care. See, usually when we think about self-care, we start thinking about stuff like pampering our flesh. That's not necessarily self-care in its entirety. Self-care is your ability to handle you gently. Self-care is your ability to govern your thoughts so that your thoughts are not intrusive or abusive to you. Yeah. Self-care is not you, just going out and shopping and buying a new outfit. Self-care is you going out shopping, buying a new outfit and trying it on, looking in the mirror and not saying, look at me, I don't look right in this, or look at my stomach, or look at my arms. Not talking to yourself, not treating yourself like that. Because the thing of it, the truth of the matter is, it's the same problem that we're talking about today. It's a premeditated expectation. You see it on the mannequin, the way it lay, the way it fits on the mannequin, and you have a premeditated expectation that it's going to lay and fit on you that way. But that's not always the case, people. Trust me. I am an expert witness at this because I have some ideas and I have some garments and they don't all fit on me the way I see it in my mind. When I go to the closet, it don't always lay on me like I see it in my mind, how I have it premeditated. And I get discouraged about the outfit and I don't even feel like putting on clothes. And so the same thing happens in our relationship with God, in our expectations. But you are important. And the way that you treat you and the way that you care for you is important. And we talk about the law of attraction all the time. But do you understand that the way you treat yourself privately, you will attract people publicly to treat you the same way? The way that you speak with and deal with yourself psychologically, you will socially and professionally attract people that will speak to you the same way. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. The scripture says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. You become a product of your thoughts. Your most dominant thoughts, those are your next realities to live out because you become a product of your thought, a presentation of your thoughts. And so you have to care for yourself beyond what anyone may say or what anyone may be doing or whatever. You have to be gentle with you. And the worst thing that can happen to you is that God has to reprimand you about the way that you're treating you. Because mind you, your life is not your own, it's his. And he's saying, you're not going to treat my stuff like that. This is my vessel. This is my heart. This is my mind. You're not going to treat it that way. And we wonder why God ripped certain things out of our lives. It's because we were allowing those things to be devastating to us. We're allowing those things to further injure us. And God said, no, you're not going to suffer any more injury. So I'm going to take this out. Regardless of how much you love it, it's hurting you. And you belong to me. You're my responsibility. And I'm not going to allow something to keep hurting you. So I'm going to take it away. And when he does that, we're confused and we say, why, Lord? Why? And God is saying, because you wasn't taking care of you. And he gives you another chance. Excuse me. He gives you another chance to correct it by removing that thing. And you're saying, okay, I'm ready for it. And he was like, I don't know. I don't know if you're ready for it, because if I give it to you the same way I gave it to you last time, you may end up responding or reacting the same way. And that's the part that we have to be careful of, that we don't allow ourselves to treat ourselves any kind of way. You have an expectation for how others will treat you, but you don't have an expectation of how you should treat yourself. Have that expectation. Have that expectation. Nothing's wrong with it. It's actually healthy. Mentally, it's healthy for you to have that expectation. You should not treat yourself any kind of way, because you're building that tolerance. When you do so, you're building a tolerance that will allow others to treat you the same way that you treat yourself. What's the difference between letting go of your expectations and settling? Letting go of your expectation. Arlene, call in 318-230-8772 if you can. Letting go. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by letting go of your expectations and settling. Yeah. But yeah, you have to treat, while we're waiting for her, you have to treat yourself well. You have to treat yourself well. You have to treat yourself in a way that is honorable, in a way that you expect others to treat you. If you don't expect it from others, then hey, or if you can't get it from yourself, you really can't expect it from others. Because I don't expect anyone to give me what it is that I can't give myself, whether it's just kindness or courtesy. And the green says, I may use it. Ooh, I learned to honor his will for my life. It's taken me all this time to give me grace. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's good. That's good. If we can hold for 1 second, you guys. Let's see about this. We're about to do this thing.
Please leave your message for 7193.
Okay, I'm unable to get through to you, Pastor. I'm unable to get through to you. So when you get a second, you can call me right back. Yeah, but you know that kindness piece, that's what it really is. Like, that's self care. And it comes from you first. That's why it's called self care. Not everybody else care. It's self care. And we have to have that in our lives. We have to have that in place in order to create that balance. Because with everything that's going on in our society, you say you're getting a busy signal. I'm going to try to call you right back. Okay. Okay. Boom. We got action.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Great. Um,
Cool.
just to know, you're live. Your question was about settling.
Uh,
Tell me.
well, I was asked particularly the other day about my expectation on possibly finding a mate.
Okay.
And when I made the comment that um, I don't really think about it, if it happens, it happens, it's in God's hands. I was told, now you're settling, that I should be specific with what I want. And we're taught that to be specific with what we want. That causes our expectation to go along with the can't say it, specificity.
Uh huh.
And and then it does limit God to answer a certain way. So is that settling or is that really just leaving it in God's hands? I thought it was just leaving it in God's hands, but I was told it was settling.
It that is exactly what it is. It's leaving it in God's hands. It is not
Okay.
settling at all
Okay.
because to settle, it is to remove. It is to remove your faith and or trust. If you settle for something,
Uh-huh.
it's like whatever
Any
happens.
way you bless me, Lord, I'll be satisfied.
Yes. Uh huh.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so you can still have an expectation, but you don't want your expectation to be limited to your how or specifications. You
On
know,
how it right.
Y-
Okay. 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 Because I didn't feel like I was settling, but the the thought when it was thrown at me kind of took me aback, and I thought, "Am I?" So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
oh, you're so welcome. Thanks so much for calling.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, you guys. And so, yeah, we just have to, you have to love on you. And so, with everything that's going on in our society and with everything that's going on in, our personal lives, you can get mistreatment from anywhere. You don't have to even go outside to find that. You can go online and people are harsh and just brutal and judgmental and all of this other stuff. You don't even have to leave home for that. So why is it that you will add further injury to what you already have to face or what you're already subject to? You may not be facing it, but you're subject to it. As long as you live in this world, you're subject to it. So you should treat you kind. Don't allow your thoughts and your mentality to speak down to you all the time. Sometimes we have to self-correct, and I'm not saying you should never get you in check or put yourself in check. You should have those hard conversations with yourself. But even in having a hard conversation, it doesn't have to be harsh. That's all I'm saying. And I think that we're losing our tenderness of heart because our idea and concept in this culture, in this society of self care is only external and not internal. Because you can see some of the most beautiful people externally. And if in fact you were to open up a dialogue with them and talk to them and hear how they think about themselves and the things that they speak to themselves, you'll be like, oh my God, I do it every day for a living. I do it every day for a living. And I hear people say stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's got to be miserable to live inside of a body and you think the way that you think about yourself. That's harsh. We don't need to be that way. You have enough going on, you have enough critics. You don't need to be one. You have enough people that would love to see you fall flat on your face. You don't have to be one of those people that say, you know what, I'm not even going to try because 9 times out of 10, it ain't going to work. Nothing ever happens for me. You don't need to be that person. You don't. You need to be the one that will, as the scripture says, David did, encourage himself when all of the men turned against him. Okay, Rashonda, give me a call. If all of the men that he led to victory, they got back, they had a problem in another area of their lives, and he turned on them. They turned on him, and the scripture says he encouraged himself in the Lord.
Roker Hoy Hoy.
Good morning, Miss Hoy.
Yes.
Okay, we got you.
Okay. So my question is, situation that my husband and I are going through with the sale of our house.
Hmm.
So we have it up for sale. We're believing that we'll sell it so we can transition to the next phase that we want to be in.
Hmm.
But listening today and just with our conversations recently, we was like, it's not selling. We're not gonna give it away, of course, but it's like, what if God's will isn't for us to sell it? Like we're believing that we'll still liquidate the equity and then go to the next move. Well, now I'm thinking today, Lord, like, is it that I'm believing for the wrong thing? Like, what if it's not that we have to sell it? Maybe we keep it and do something else. So now when we go, expectations, uh, am I putting the wrong expectation in? Should I just be believing that God is going to transition us to the next era? Like you said, however he do it. Maybe I'm doing too much thinking on the details. I done got confused and everything now. I said, Lord.
Well, no, you shouldn't be confused. You have an expectation for what it is that you want God to do, right? You and your husband, you guys are in agreement for what it is that you want Him to do ultimately. Now, the details of that, you have to trust God to work out the details because most of the time when we're in a situation as you guys are, you're putting your house on the market and subconsciously you like, okay, the last house in this neighborhood is sold within 45, 60 days. And when that 45, 60 day marker come up, you like, oh, wait a minute. And it's because subconsciously you have placed an expectation based upon what has already happened for someone else. Well, God may not do it for you the way that he did it for someone else, and you have to be open. What if, God says, okay, it's not gonna be 60 days for you. In fact, it might be 180 days, but at 180 days, you're gonna have two buyers bidding against each other for your property, so you're gonna get more. Are you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah. And so that's the reason why we have to make sure that we take our how out of the way that God will bless us. If you guys just settle on the fact that when it's time, when God sees fit, this house will sell and we will be able to liquidate and transition into the next phase of our living. And I think that that's it. And of course, it takes patience. And when you have a house on the market, that's a whole nother something. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, no, I think that, you guys are on the right track. I would just take the how, take the details out, check your subconscious and say, am I really rushing you by a certain calendar day? And we do it all the time. I do it still to this day. And I have to catch myself. And,
Mm,
sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't.
gotcha.
Got
So the how logistically, just girl, chill out.
you. Right, right, right. Chill, chill. Let the Lord rally up those competitive buyers.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Okay. I seen who was it, Drika? Yep. Drika, give me a call. This is good what she's saying. That's really good. We're gonna take this call. This will be our last one. Wonder was that her? Chandrika Henderson safe. Okay, Drika.
Hey, Dr. Sands.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And you were saying you feel a big part of it stems heavily from Western Christianity. Now, you open up something so huge when you say that, because Western Christianity is something altogether different from really what
Yes.
we read in the Bible. So
Yes.
tell me about it.
There's these past 7 months, having been stuck traveling back and forth into the office, I've had a lot of time to, I guess, research and learn and reflect on the way that we engage with God and
Hmm.
with one another and the way that we expect things, but we've kind of been taught or conditioned to be complacent about it.
Uh huh.
It's like we forget the part of the Bible that says, faith without works is dead.
Right.
And so I imagine that a lot of our expectations or disappointments wouldn't be so heavy or prevalent if we were also working while expecting things. And not to say that we need to go and be outside of what God has for us,
Hmm.
but that as, co-creators and being given the abilities and powers that God has given us, that we are not always recognizing we can make moves.
What?
Everything isn't always having to be done a specific way.
Wow. So I'm hearing a subtle implication of something that I think we should bring out, because you're saying faith without works is dead. You use that scripture, and most of the times through Western Christianity, we assume that when we say faith without works is dead, we're assuming that if we have faith for something, we need to be working on that. But you're saying that we need to be making moves, period, across the board. You don't need to be stuck on that one thing that you're believing for. What you have,
Yes,
when you have faith for something, you can still work other things, right?
yes.
Okay.
I just don't sit very often anymore in disappointment and waiting around for something to happen. There are more things for me to be worried about than this specific thing, but I still trust that God is going to take care of this thing while I'm still actively working. Like I don't have to be a one issue not
Right.
voter, but like I can think past that exact moment because it is covered. God does have it covered for me. I do believe that I am still loved enough that my needs and a lot of my wants are met. So what else can I be doing in the community or in my life, in my family, that still needs to be done? Like we are the actors for God very often. So what else does God need me to do while I'm waiting on this thing and how he's going to move in that way for me?
Right. Wow. That is so good. That's a great perspective. Wow. Yeah. You're absolutely right, though. You're absolutely right. Yeah. That's good. Thank you so much for calling.
No problem.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, we're over about 5 minutes over this morning. I'm gonna let you guys go. Please do also just go back and kind of check yourself out to see if you have premeditated expectations on how God will bless you. And when you see those expectations on how, start correcting those. Move the how out of the way. Let the expectation remain that God will bless me. Not this is how God will bless me, but God will bless me. That is the expectation. It remains in place, and you take your how out of the way, and you make sure that you cross-examine your hesitations to make sure that that's not doubting you whenever God is making you a promise. And lastly, the way you care for yourself. All this is self-care. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. You can find that other stuff any other place on this planet. Again, you don't even have to leave home to get mistreated now. So, I mean, make sure that the treatment of yourself is gentle so that you can grow in you can grow in a great environment and grow into the greatness that you have. Thank you guys so much for connecting with us this morning. Thank you so much, Leisha. Um, thank you guys for connecting with us. And those of you who just been rocking with us today on this very day, 22 years ago, I founded the Source Inspirational Worship Center. And so this is a very special day to me. And so I really appreciate those of you who are here with us this morning. Thank you for just rocking with us. Thank you so much. And I will look to forward to talking to you guys throughout the week and on next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. If in fact you need me before next Sunday morning, please reach out to me and I'll get back with you at my earliest convenience. Before you go and finish your day, please go and make a donation if you enjoy these sessions weekly and encouraged and inspired. We ask that you make a donation, just an expression or a token of your gratitude and appreciation for the time that we share together. Thank you guys so much. I bid you all blessings and Godspeed, and I will see every one of you next week. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss if ever gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Money gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss the blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Let me claim it. All of my blessings, me name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss if ever gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Money gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss the blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Let me claim it. All of my blessings, me name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah.